Hi there, James Savage from National Club Golfer, and these are my top 10 irons for 2018. Right, okay, so I'm not trying to say that these are the top 10 irons for 2018. I can only base this on my personal experiences for, clubs that I've hit, launch model data that I've gathered. So this is more, sort of my favourite, if you like, irons for 2018, and it kind of goes back a little bit longer than just in 2018. Some of these products were launched, sort of a year or even longer than a year ago. So this is really, of all the irons that are out there on the market that I've hit over the past 18 months or so, these are my favourites. And if I was looking to take an iron out onto the course, it would be one of these models. So just a little bit more on the rules of this top 10 irons video. I make the rules, and that is that I'm only allowed to pick one iron per brand. I can't just, pick 3 or 4 from one brand. So I've had to be quite selective by, there might have been 2 or maybe even 3 models from a particular brand that I really liked, but I've had to narrow it down and say which was my favourite of those. So we've got top 10 irons and we've got 10 different brands, and like I say, these are all irons as well that I would be happy to use out on the golf course. So that rules out quite a lot of your more sleeker bladed type clubs, like maybe your TaylorMade P730s, Callaway Apex MB, Titleist MBs, Ping Eye blades. They're all lovely looking irons, but at the end of the day, they're not going to make it into my list because I'm not going to take those irons out onto the course because they're just not really suitable for me. I've tried using them and I've concluded that the irons here are much more suited to my game. Okay, so in at number 10, I've gone for the Cleveland Launcher HB iron. Like I say, this order is in order, if you like. I'm not trying to say that that this is taking anything away from this Cleveland club, but it's probably out of all the irons that I tested here, this is probably the one that I would maybe say I'd be least likely to choose to take out onto the course. And that's probably just because of the style of club that it is. These Launcher HB irons, they do exactly what they say on the tin. They're going to launch it really nice and high. They're going to launch it nice and easily. And for me, I don't really need help getting the ball in the air. I hit it really, really high as it is. If anything, I sort of need the opposite. But saying that, these are just really good fun to use. They're nice and easy to use, really user friendly, fill you with loads of confidence behind the ball, and they're just really good fun. They make the game fun. So I would really recommend to anyone that if they don't hit the ball that high, they struggle to get the ball in the air, want a little bit more help, Cleveland Launcher HB will do that job. Okay, number 9, I have gone for the Wilson Staff C300 Forged. There were 2 models in the C300 irons range this year, a forged model and a cast model, and I just thought the forged model was well worth the extra £100. It's really ticking a lot of boxes for me in that sort of mid-handicap sort of range. It's got a minimal offset. It's a really nice sleek looking golf club. It's got a really nice finish on there, and the performance was excellent. Really nice sound and feel that as you'd expect from a forged club, and really, really good distance too. These were as good from a number point of view as any other iron really that I hit this year. So it's a bit of a shame that it's only down at number 9, but a really fantastic iron there from Wilson. The best Wilson iron that I've ever hit. That's the Wilson C300 Forged. Okay, in at number 8, this is the oldest club that I've got here. The one in terms of the one that was released the longest ago, and this is the Strixon Z565. And I had to include this model in this test. Like I say, I know it's been out for a long time. You've probably seen quite a lot on this club over near enough the last 2 years, but it had to get a mention because it is just absolutely superb. It is one of the best irons, again in that sort of mid-handicap category range, where it could actually appeal right down to your low single-figure players. It could go up to your sort of 18 handicappers as well. It's just the looks of this club are just absolutely spot on. It's got all the right sort of lines and contours, and again it's that really nice sort of forged design, but it's got a little bit of help there from the sort of cavity style of it as well. And it's ticking so many boxes for me because it's an iron that I think I could use now, and I think if I manage to improve over the next couple of years, I think I could kind of take this iron with me on that journey. Strixon makes some absolutely fantastic irons. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they've got coming next, which I think we will see later this year. So maybe you might be watching this video and there may be a new iron out from Strixon that has superseded this range. But yeah, the Z565, it is one of the best mid to better player irons that I've ever hit. Okay, in at number 7, I have got the Cobra King Forged Tour. This is actually the Forged one, but you can just get it in a variable length, which is the Forged Tour. This was a tough one for me because I did really like the Cobra King F8 iron, but I've actually been using this this iron out on the course at for the start of 2018, and I'm really getting along well with these clubs. I think they look really nice. You know, they've got, you know, again, minimal offset, you know, nice sort of sleek design, but not intimidating. I still feel like there's a bit of forgiveness in there, and they've got a really nice sort of sound and feel, and you know, I just love the looks of these clubs as well. I think they, you know, they sort of appeal a little bit more to, you know, to my maybe sort of colourful side a little bit. They're just a little bit more exciting than some of the other irons that you get on the market, and I'm really impressed with these out on the course, like I say. And as a bonus, available in one length. You know, why Cobra are the only brand offering clubs in one length, I'm not quite sure, because I think it's a concept that is going to work for lots of golfers. Like I say, I'm using the Cobra King Forged one at the moment, and they're working really well for me, and hopefully they're going to help my handicap come down this year. Okay, another slightly older model here, but I just had to include this iron because I used it a lot last year, and it really has been one of the best irons that I've ever hit, and that's the Mizuno JPX 900 Hot Metal. It's such a fantastic performing iron. Looks great, sounds and feels great, as long as anything out there. And you know, again, it's one of the best irons that I've ever used. Like I say, I used it a lot last year. I sort of changed out of it for sort of change sake more than anything, just to, you know, sort of like use something new and, you know, sort of like carry on with a bit of sort of testing, if you like. But there was absolutely no good reason why, you know, I didn't game this iron, you know, for any longer. It's just, again, ticking loads of boxes for me. Just the looks of Mizuno clubs, the sound and feel, they just seem to get everything spot on. You know, the custom fitting is excellent. I got custom fitted for these using their Swing DNA, which again I think is a really useful fitting tool for Mizuno, just to make sure you're getting the right shaft and head combination for your game. So yeah, Mizuno JPX 900 Hot Metal. We're going to be seeing something new from Mizuno later this year, but again, I just couldn't leave this out because I just thought it was so good. Okay, number 5, I've gone for the Callaway Rogue Pro iron. Now, Callaway have got quite a lot of irons out there, and there's plenty to choose from, and there's quite a lot even just within the Rogue range, where they've got the regular model, they've got the X model with the strong loft, they've got the W model with the sort of wide soles for slower swingers and lady players. But of all the irons that Callaway have got, you know, on the market at the moment, the Rogue Pro is the one for me, because it's a good sort of middle ground club for me. It's not overly sized and massively chunky and loads of offset like you'll get with the regular Rogue. It just looks a little bit too large for me and just puts me off from a looks point of view. What I actually found from hitting the Rogue Pro, that I was actually getting the sort of same distance as I was getting from the regular model, but just a little bit more precision, just a little bit more finesse, a much nicer look at address. And the sound and feel on these Rogue Pro irons, and all the Rogue irons actually this year, it is absolutely sensational. Callaway have done a really good job of, you know, adding some clever technology into their distance irons, just, you know, so it's not just about them going miles, which you would expect from a Callaway iron, but you're actually getting that nice, more sort of forged, you know, sweet, soft feel from the sort of like microsphere technology that they've put into these irons. So the Rogue Pro is definitely my favourite Callaway iron of 2018. Okay, in at number 4, I've got the Ping G400. Again, this is quite a tricky one because I do really like the i200 as well. You know, the iBlade obviously looks lovely, but I'm not gonna game that. And I was really tempted with the Ping G700 as well, which is one of the best looking game improvement irons I've ever hit. But the G400 for me, I just think is going to suit so many players. It looks really nice. It's got the same sort of finish that you get on the iBlade and the i200, so you're not putting anyone off there. They are quite large to look at in the address position. There is a bit of offset on there, and they are quite large, but they sound and feel really good too. And the distance on these is phenomenal. It's as good as any iron that I've hit. You know, nice ball flight for me, and yeah, I don't know what Ping have done in the last sort of couple of years, but the looks and sound and feel on all their irons is really good. And the G400 for me, like I say, I used this on the course last year. I sort of moved out of it because I just wanted to try something different. There was nothing wrong with these at all. And if those irons stopped working for me, this would be where I would sort of fall back to, if you like, because, you know, it's a really good, forgiving, long, you know, looks good. It's going to help me, I feel, out on the course. So that's the Ping G400. Okay, in at number 3, I've got the Titleist 718 AP1. You know, loads of irons in the range from Titleist in 2018 with your, you know, your sleeker sort of MBs, CBs, your AP2s, which a lot of your tour players using, and your AP3s, which, you know, it was an iron that I was definitely tempted by, but when I actually had my fitting, it was the AP1 that I got fitted into. Now, there's really not a lot to split for me between, you know, like the Ping G400 that I mentioned before and the AP1, but the reason why the AP1 just is slightly elevated from the G400 is just from the looks point of view, really. I think when you set that down behind the ball, it's not going to put anyone off at all, even if you're playing off a sort of 5 or 6 handicap. I don't think there's anything about this club that there's not to like. It's really part of the Titleist iron family. It's not stuck out there like some ugly, you know, sort of chunky game improvement model. It's refined. It's got really nice looks. Sounds and feels, you know, fantastic, just really consistent. You know, it has got a little bit of forgiveness in there, I think, if you don't quite find the middle. But yeah, sounds and feels really good. Looks really good. You know, if you're in that sort of mid-handicap market, you've really got to be checking out the 718 AP1. Okay, in at number 2, it's the super premium PXG 0311 Gen 2 irons, which are retailing at £400 a pop or £475 a pop for the one in the darker finish. I haven't got one here, unfortunately, which is a real shame, but I went down to a fitting event and got dialed in to these irons, and they were absolutely fantastic. You know, you know, are they worth £400? That's maybe not for me to say, but they are absolutely fantastic. I think the looks are great. The feel's great from the technology that they put in there with that sort of hollow design. You know, filling in that head just to sort of, you know, still have good ball speed, but, you know, really nice soft sound and feel. And with the 4 models that they've got, you can really blend together the perfect set. And another reason why I was so impressed with these PXG irons is because you're not just paying for the iron head, you're actually paying for the fitting experience as well. The fitting was absolutely fantastic, attention to detail, you know, loads of good quality shafts to, you know, to go through. And then when I actually got fitted, I got a nice sort of mix between the Gen 2 XF model in the longer irons, and then the P, the players model, in the shorter irons. And I just felt that was a really good set for me, and that's why they are up there, you know, with all the other bigger brands in terms of, you know, how good their irons are. If you've got the money and you want to get that tour player fitting experience, I really think you should be checking out the PXG Gen 2 irons. Okay, so number 1, my sort of favourite iron, if you like, from 2018 is the TaylorMade P790. Now, you may remember from when I first reviewed this iron, I was really excited about it then. I was raving about it then. I just thought it looked fantastic. It performed great, and, you know, a lot of new irons have come onto the market since then, and nothing's really come out that's made me think that it's necessarily better than this. I've been recommending this iron, you know, really highly to lots of people, and that's what's the best iron out there. And I say it to a lot of people as well, whether or not, you know, maybe they're 15, 16 handicap, whether they're sort of 7, 8 handicap. It's a really good club that's going to span quite a wide handicap market, and it just looks absolutely fantastic. And the reason why I actually, you know, put it just ahead of the PXG is because I just think from a shelf appeal, the PXGs look great, but I just think this is one of the best looking irons that I've ever seen. I just think it looks absolutely fantastic. You know, when they're sat there in your bag, you know, they're a joy to look at. You know, they look great in the address position. You know, just a good sort of, you know, good size. You know, they're not intimidating, but they're not bulky in any way. Like I say, I think TaylorMade have done a fantastic job with these irons. You know, I can't speak highly enough of them. You know, the numbers are absolutely fantastic. You know, I think for me as a mid-handicapper, I might be leaning more towards a Titleist AP1 or you know, a Ping G400 in terms of the extra help that maybe they offer, but I just didn't feel like I was giving anything up with this. I was getting numbers just as good, like I say, ball going miles, lovely ball flight, sound, feel, looks. It's just ticking absolutely every single box, and that's why it's up there at number 1 on my list. Now, you're probably going to take issue with this list. You're probably going to say I've missed some irons out, but I did explain before that this is just, you know, my personal preference for irons that I've hit, and I was only including one model per brand. So Post your comments below if you agree with this list, if you think some of these clubs should be higher up, if you think some of them should be lower down, if you think I've just got it completely wrong and I don't know what I'm talking about. Please let me know in the comment section below. But I hope you have enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. And if you're in the market for a new set of irons in 2018, I really hope this has given you, some sort of idea about where you, at least which models you might like to try out. So thanks very much for watching. We'll see you again soon.